Guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I thought that we would do a fun little get to know me video. So I've recently gotten a few new subscribers on my channel in the past couple months, so I thought that I would do a fun little get to know me video for you guys who are just tuning in or maybe new to my channel. So the first fact about me is that I'm actually 5'0". I'm really short and petite. I don't know how I look to you guys on camera, but if you guys were to meet me in person, you would probably be surprised. Most people who meet me are pretty surprised at how small I am. I come from a very small family. My cousins, my sister, my dad, we're all pretty short. Except for my brother. He's really tall. He's over 6 foot. I don't know how he got to be that tall. My second fact about me is my dream in life is to work with animals, which probably isn't that surprising, but one day I would really love to have a farm where I can have rescue animals, not just domestic, but farm animals too. Obviously, I am so grateful to be on YouTube because it is kind of like a side thing I can do where I get to take care of animals and rescue animals on occasion and teach you guys about pet care, so it really is a dream in and of itself, but I would love to do it on a bigger scale where I can make videos about farm animals and things as well. So I am aspiring to do that one day. Fact number 3 is I am actually severely allergic to nickel. If you guys aren't really familiar with what nickel is exactly, it's kind of like a cheaper metal that's used in fake jewelry. So basically what happens is if I come in contact with nickel on my skin, if it's in fake jewelry, I will actually break out in a really itchy rash, and if I don't remove the metal from my skin, it can actually get really bad, and this completely tormented me as a kid. It took me several years to figure out why I had these rashes all over my body. I didn't realize that it was actually the button on my jeans and also the belts that I was wearing in school. The weird thing is I didn't have this allergy growing up. It only started when I was about 15 years old. I have no idea why. It was a very delayed allergy. So I definitely have it under control. I haven't had a breakout in a really long time, but if I do, I just use my magic steroid cream and it goes right away. So fact number 4, I've never broken a bone and I've never been hospitalized for anything. Fact number 4 kind of rolls into fact number 5, which is that I am also very flexible, so that could be why I've never broken anything. In fact, just yesterday I had a huge scare. I actually slammed my hand in the door. And I don't mean like I just slammed it on it and the door bounced open. I mean, I was getting in the car and my husband was already inside, and when I got in, the door's weight was so heavy, I was holding the roof of the door like this, and the car slammed shut on my fingers. I actually have pictures from yesterday that I will show you guys. Like, you can tell it was bruised and I slammed it really hard. It was a complete Billy Butcherson moment from Hocus Pocus. I thought that I lost all of my fingers because the door was completely closed and I was in a huge amount of pain. My husband reached across me and opened the door, and I literally thought that my fingers were all broken. I have extremely flexible fingers, so luckily the swelling went down pretty quickly, and yes, they're sore today, but the bruising is gone as well. So ever since I was little, I've always been really flexible, especially in my hands, and I'm gonna show you, so if you're squeamish, turn away. So just to give you an idea of how come my fingers did not break when I slammed them in the door yesterday, here is my pinky, and I'm gonna show you guys how far I can stretch it back. So just to give you guys an idea of how flexible my hands are, I can touch my fingers all the way to the back of my hand. And it is not painful whatsoever. I've done it since I was a little kid. All of my fingers can bend back really far. But my husband swears that is the only reason that all of my fingers did not break in the door yesterday. Fact number 6 is when I was little, I actually took ballet and gymnastics. I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I absolutely loved ballet when I was little. It was the first thing I was ever enrolled in. Unfortunately, shortly after I was enrolled, my mom got pregnant and she was too tired and didn't feel good, so she didn't want to take me to all of the practices. So unfortunately, I had to drop out. And then a few years later, I actually enrolled in gymnastics, and I didn't love gymnastics nearly as much as I loved ballet. I definitely missed ballet. However, shortly after I got into gymnastics, my mom got pregnant again, and same thing as with ballet, she just got really tired. She didn't like taking me to practice 2 or 3 days a week after school, and so unfortunately I had to quit gymnastics as well, and I just never went back. So fact number 7 is I actually love to collect things. I have a lot of little collections. I collect different types of books, dolls, toys from the 90s, which is probably one of my favorite collections that I have. I have like the little Gigapets. I have a video on my channel from a while back. Whenever I started this channel out, it actually originally was supposed to be like a collector and toy channel. However, it just slowly evolved into a pet channel, and I'm really glad that it did. But collecting things is definitely still a hobby of mine. Another random thing that I collect is actually antique perfume bottles. This is my biggest one, and it was my most expensive one, and I absolutely love it. So the thing that I love about antique perfume bottles is that they're so much more elegant and heavy duty than the ones that you see today. I really love the antique perfume bottles that have the styluses. So basically whenever you pull the stylus out, it usually would have the perfume on there, and then you would just take it and dab it on your wrist. If the stylus isn't broken, because these are such a delicate glass, it's actually worth a lot more than if the stylus is broken. So the glass stylus basically just sits in the top, and then you put your perfume in here. There's like a little bitty glass vial that sits in the top of it and screws in safely. I just think it's so beautiful and so elegant, so I'm a big fan of these. And just for fun, this is actually my smallest antique perfume bottle. It is a glass bottle that's wrapped in like this metal design, and it's kind of heavy too, but it's absolutely beautiful. It has these little stones on the front and the top. Here's a close-up just to give you guys an idea of what it looks like. It's absolutely gorgeous. And this one has a glass stylus in it as well. My 8th fact about me is that I actually had a car wreck the very first week that I ever started driving. Now, my family loves to make fun of me for this, but I stand by the notion that it was not my fault. So basically, in a nutshell, what happened is the very first car that my mom ever gave me was actually a car that used to belong to her mom, so my grandma. The car was over 20-something years old. It was actually made before power steering was even a thing. So essentially, if your car doesn't have power steering, it's basically like driving a golf cart on the main road. If you have to react quickly, or if you have to slam on your brakes, or if you have to go faster or anything like that, you're basically out of luck. It was actually an incredibly dangerous car, and even looking back, my mom admits today that like it was a terrible first car. And of course, you should always be grateful for anything that your parents give you that you didn't earn yourself. However, this car was actually a death trap. This car was in such bad shape and so horrible that it would stall in the middle of the road every morning on the way to school as my brother and I would try and go over a hill near our house. While the car was stalled on the side of the road nearly every day, my brother thought it was funny to get out his cell phone and record the speedometer doing this because it was broken. So I never knew how fast I was going at any given time. It was just an absolutely horrible car. I managed to get into 2 different wrecks in about the 6-week period that I drove this car. After the second wreck, it did a lot of damage to the hood and the bumper. Instead of getting me a different car or just junking this one altogether, my parents actually went to a dump yard and they got a hood from a similar car that was black and a different bumper, and they brought it home and they put the black hood on the car and they zip tied the bumper onto the front with actual zip ties. The black hood was absolutely hideous, being as this was a silver car, and I continued to drive this car to school on my senior year. Whatever first car you get from your parents or that you have to get for yourself or whatever, while you should also be grateful for it, if it is a dangerous vehicle, please do not drive it. I did because I was desperate, but I ended up having 2 wrecks. After the second wreck and the zip-tied bumper and the black hood on the silver car, I was completely over it. I felt that my safety was in harm's way, so I actually just gave them the keys and refused to drive it. Luckily, sometime later, I did eventually get another used car. However, it did have power steering, and I have never had a wreck since. Fact number 9, I have never ever dyed my hair. So up here is actually the color of my natural hair. Now I have gotten highlights, but I have what stylists like to call virgin hair, and that's basically where my hair is the color that I was born with. And fact number 10 is I actually hate doing laundry with a passion. When I was 15 years old, I had to get my first job ever in order to pay my school tuition because I went to private school my entire life. Basically, with private school is you have to pay tuition monthly in order to go there. So for all 4 years of high school, 3 days a week after school for a few hours, and every single Sunday for 8 hours, I would have to go to this laundry and basically fold linens for hospitals and nursing homes and things. So after folding laundry for 4 years, I basically hate it now. It's something that I look at with disgust, but luckily I have a really sweet husband and he is more than happy to help me fold laundry here at the house, so it's not a big deal. Okay guys, that is all of the facts about me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Be kind. Bye.